Musket Man, and I am back for episode 15 of Gun Table Talk. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a step back kind of to the 1860 Army. This is not really a part 3 episode, but kind of is to the 1860 Army, and we're going to be going over the stock. This is something I picked up about 2 weeks ago at the Midland Gun Show here in Texas. So without further ado, guys, thanks for joining me for another episode. Let's get to talking. So anyway, guys, as you can see, this is something very different and that I have never owned before. This is the first time I've ever owned this. And we're really going to be talking about the shoulder stock for the 1860 Army. Now, I'll kind of go over a brief history. There's not a whole lot to tell. You'd have to do some really deep research. So I'll try to make it really quick. I'll kind of go over the gun. If you haven't seen my 1860 Army video yet, I highly recommend you go check that out first before watching this one, just so it makes more sense. So anyway, right off the bat, we're just going to go over the history. Colt had been making a lot of cap and ball revolvers at this time, and he was getting military contracts, and he wanted something that would get the military's attention a little bit more, not necessarily to get more contracts, but to make his guns more versatile. So he came up with a shoulder stock to put on his guns. I believe he first started doing this around the Dragoon series, the third model, because there was a third model military. And that's kind of when you first saw a shoulder stock such as this that could be mounted to a cap and ball revolver. He also made them for the 1851 Navies, the 1861 Navies, and the 1860 Armies. Now, there is also some for the Remington new models as well. You can get those. Those are quite rare too. Oh, come on, stay up. Those are kind of rare too. You can get those as well. So Colt was making these, and they worked. So you had best of both worlds. You had a handgun that also could be transformed into a short barrel carbine. Some of them were even converted to have the stock as a holster where the gun could actually stored in the stock itself. And believe it or not, there were some that actually had canteens built into them to hold water or a adult drink like whiskey. Believe it or not, there is a video on ForgottenWeapons.com on their YouTube channel. They have something like this, and they go over the canteen stock. So if you want to check that out. So for those guns, he had made that, and that's basically it. He just wanted to get the military's eyes on his guns just a little bit more. Which you got to think, you got a pistol. Oh, slap the stock on. Now, if I want to be a little bit more precise and accurate, I can do that if I so choose. Problem was they weren't entirely very popular. Still cap and ball age. This is before the cartridges. You would have a lot of smoke, a lot closer to your face. Some people are going, well, they had flintlocks. That's true. That's right by your face. But a lot of people didn't like that. You had that pop going off, the smoke. So they weren't very popular. But to have one back then was kind of unseen, kind of like the LeMat revolver. You just didn't see those a whole lot. So if you saw something like this, it was kind of like, whoa, look at that. So, like I said, they weren't very popular. So he didn't make a whole lot of them. They didn't really last very long. Not as many people liked them. But to have two options for one gun was pretty neat. And knowing Colt, he was going to do anything he could to get contracts or get a gun out there that people like. So for Colt, this was a good design. It worked. It did not work. It wasn't really a flawed design. Just wasn't very popular. So that's about it for the history. There's not a whole lot. I'm sure it goes into grave detail on history. I just don't know a whole lot about it just because they weren't out there that much. So this one is a reproduction. This is not the original stock. When I bought this at the Midland Gun Show, it came with the revolver. I really wanted to get it for the stock because if you've seen my fantasy gun videos on my 1851 buntline military gun, I bought that for this so I could have a long barrel carbine. Sadly, this Uberti, which is actually the first 1860 Army Uberti I've ever owned, someone had altered the frame in order to get this stock to fit. So when I tried to put it on my Pieta, sadly didn't fit. So I'm probably going to have to send that into a gunsmith in order it to get fitted for this stock. That way I can have the long barrel carbine, and I'll probably just keep it that way because that's really what I wanted. So, and I'll just show you again. I mean, this thing is just really cool. And, you know, I've made the complaint I can't put it on my Pieta yet as of right now, but still, this thing is just pretty cool. It's very comfortable. It's something you don't really see a whole lot. Very neat. Like I said, the frame was altered, unfortunately, to get this to fit. So, and I'll just show you real quick how easy it is to take it off and put it back on if you were back in those days and you had one of these. So as you can see, there's just a screw in the very back that moves this hook that goes into the bottom of the grip that pushes the grip and tightens it to really hold the gun. And like we said in the 1860 Army videos, those slots on both sides of the frame, these little hooks on the stock are what go into it to grip it to the gun. So let me disassemble it just to show you real quick. So all you do is just loosen lefty-loosey, and simply stock comes off. It's just that easy. So we'll go over the pistol real quick. Again, first Uberti. I'm actually kind of excited. Talk about that real quick. It was very dirty, very dusty. Had to disassemble it, clean it, oil it, all the stuff you do with a brand new gun. Anyway, I love the feel, the action to this Uberti 1860 Army. I have a Pieta, 2 Pietas actually. I love those, but this one, just something about it feels a little bit better. And those who know about Uberti, they are more accurate to get an exact copy of the guns back then. So if that's what you want, you'll have to get a Uberti or a second-gen Colt or other companies that may not be out of business that made these. So Pieta, I'm not talking trash. Y'all make great guns. They're both good guns if you're looking for either one. My opinion, I like the Uberti just a hair better. So what I was saying earlier is someone had altered the frame. And it's kind of hard to see here, but someone had taken a file or a die grinder on both sides. As you can see, it's kind of a little bit crude, to basically get these hooks in the stock to fit, because it doesn't fit on these stock frames. So someone had to file and grind it in order to fit. And they did a decent job. I'd say maybe an amateur job, but it works. So it does work to attach onto this gun, but I think right now it only fits this gun because it's been altered. It won't fit any others. So just wanted to show you that again. As you can see, just file, grinded. That's about the only thing that's been altered to this pistol I can find. So as the stock, as far as quality goes, not too bad. I actually like it pretty good. I do have some complaints, as you can see, and I'll try to show you. I guess they had to forge this. It's not the greatest of forging. It's a little bit finicky. You know, one side's a little bit fatter than the other, very wide. From what research I found, they do this because if it's going on your 1860 Army, 51 Navy, whatever gun, it's so you can basically alter your gun in this to get it to fit. So the odds are if you buy a brand new one, it might not fit unless it's an original Colt stock made by Colt. So there's that. The only other complaint I have is the on the buttstock, the brass butt plate. It is a little bit, as you can see, it's a little bit too big for the wood. It's perfect on this side, but a little bit too big. Try to get that closer to where it passed the wood a bit right here. So I plan to do some filing later to fix that just because that bothers me. Other than that, the quality is very good. I don't have any complaints. You have the cavalry band basically right here on the bottom, so that's cool. You've got all that stuff. Other than that, quality is pretty good. So here's how you just put it on. Very simple. And I'll try to do this. There we go. So you basically just kind of put it in here to see the hook's about to grab it, and you just move up. And as you can see, grabs it pretty good. Now you've got it. So all you got to do is basically get the other hook that goes on the bottom, which there's a little plug, I guess you could say, on the bottom of the grip, and it just falls into place. Now the Ubertis and the Pietas have this on the 1860 Armies. So once you've got it in there, all you do is just start tightening it down. Go, 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 till it finally snugs up right there. And it is good and firm. It is not loose. It ain't going to move. So there's that. It is that easy to take on and to take off. Depending on what your gun you might have, it might scuff up your grip just a little bit, so be wary about that. Here's another complaint I have. Now, like I said, it's stiff. It ain't going anywhere. And it works, cocks, fires, everything works right there. Another complaint. As you can see, do you see those gaps? So you can see light go through them between the frame and the stock. I don't like that as far as quality concern, but it's not that big of a deal. If it was, it would have maybe a little bit tighter fit, like an original Colt stock would have, but not a big complaint. So that's just one little thing. Me personally, it's not that big of a deal. So an original Colt stock to an original Colt 1860 Army would have fit perfectly. There wouldn't be any gaps. It would almost be like butter how close it was, just because Colt was also known for his quality. Also, the screws on the outside of the frame right here, which serve no purpose to the gun, but they're made for the stock. That's what they're put on for on these particular guns. And there's some other 51 Navies that are modified for this. That's what they're for. But as you can see, the screws almost completely miss it. On an original Colt, they would have been right in that notch right there perfectly. So it's a little bit off. So it's not, again, not a huge big deal, but as far as getting it, I guess, a tighter fit, a more secure fit, it's a little off. But like I said, once you tighten that right where it snugs up, this gun's there to stay. It is not going to come off. Another complaint. I know I sound like I'm complaining, but I do love this thing. And I'll try to see if you can see it. Gun's unloaded, by the way. If you can see, try to get the barrel. It's kind of hard. So with the barrel straight, if you can see the top pin, the stock is about, I would say, 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16, just a little off if I'm looking at it this way to the right. So that's one more complaint, but I'm right-handed, so it does bring the gun closer to my right eye, which I'm right eye dominant, so it helps me out a little bit. That's just one little detail I'm not liking, but that's probably the guy that altered the frame why it does that. So that's probably not the manufacturer. That's probably just the guy that altered the frame. So that's the last complaint. Other than this, I have not shot this yet. I have not shot one with a shoulder stock, so I am not sure what kind of accuracy I'm going to get. I'm assuming it's going to be better than one-handed at 20 yards. I'm assuming it's going to be a tighter grouping. And I can't wait to shoot it. I should have a video soon or pictures when I do actually take it out and shoot it. I'm excited to do that because I've wanted one of these for a long time, especially with a long barrel. That would be way cooler. So as far as shooting, as I can see and what I've researched, you have to hold it. By the way, you cannot put your offhand in front of the barrel of the off chance of a chain fire. If there was, which cap and ball revolver, it could happen. Where's that ball and lead going to go? Right into your fingers. Let's say it doesn't chain fire. Where's the flame going to go? Right into your fingers. So with your shooting hand, right or left, you have to put your offhand right under it, away from the front of the cylinder, just like you would shoot these two-handed anyway. You have to do that every time. Now, in order, when you cock it, because you know your rear sight's in the hammer, you do kind of have to bring your head down just a little bit. See if you can kind of see. Again, gun's not loaded. But as you can see, you got to kind of, there's the sweet spot. Now, once you're there, you're there. You're actually firm. And with that second hand, it pushes that stock and gun into your shoulder. So you're not swaying as much. So it's really secure. And I like that feeling. So I can't wait to shoot this. Gun loads up the same way. You could load it like this, free up the chamber, or you can take the gun off, load it, and then put the stock on later. It's totally up to you. From what I know, these stocks are kind of hard to get in with everything going on. The only website I truly find that has them is Dixie Gunworks, but they've been out of stock for them for a long time, especially when all this went on. So if you're looking for them, you're going to have to do some deep research to find one. So anyway, guys, I'm about to run out of time here. Remember, I'm the Musket Man. Keep your powder dry, and we will catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys.